Welcome to RPF. In this video, we'll discuss about how to create BMI calculator using UiPath. So BMI calculator is a body mass index calculator, gives us the BMI value and categorizes BMI based on provided informations from WHO and CDC of both adults and children. Here, for building this type of applications when we are working with any other OOPS applications or OOPS language, generally this will take lots of time to build this type of applications and tons of coding required to perform it. But in this case, we will build it by simple methods without writing a single line of code. First, I will execute the complete code and then will show you how we can build this from scratch. Now our code started running. Now this will go to the calculate stuff, and from there it will enter height in feet and inches and calculates weight with the BMI calculator. And here we have used Excel sheet to fill the data from Excel to this calculate stuff table. Every time this will enter the value and calculate the BMI, where we can see the BMI value on our message box. We can also see the pop-up message at the end whenever the BMI calculations clicked on OK, where we can see underweight, overweight, as well as other feedback from the application. Now execution has been completed. Let's see the Excel sheet which contains the data, where we can see all the value is reported with the proper results, where we can see the BMI value with their feedback which we have populated on message box. Now let's build this flow from scratch. First, what we'll do, we will add the sequence where we can organize all our activities from scratch, where we can add all this activity which is required for calculating a BMI. Now, throughout the process, you will see we are not writing a single line of code. This time we have extracted read range workbook, where we'll give the path of our Excel sheet. Now here we are giving health Excel as a file name. Now we have to specify the sheet name with the range. From which range to which range we can execute it. This read range workbook is successfully filled. After entering the detail, we are storing this data in Excel DT1. And we can see variable type is data table and variable is added for the sequence. Next activity, we will drag and drop as a second sequence. so that this will looks like a block. For best practices, we will rename this as a user data for first sequence, and for the second sequence, we will modify this sequence with the name calculate BMI. So here we'll open the browser. Within the browser tab, we'll specify the URL which we have used for calculating BMI. So our URL is calculatestuff.com, and from here we'll add in double quotes. Now we'll drag and drop for each row in data table, and for each we will specify the row with Excel and select the Excel data value, that is Excel DT1, because this Excel DT1 is specified in. Now here we have made the global variable so that we can use it Excel DT1. Now next activity we'll use attach browser. From attach browser we will call the detail or indicate on the screen so that it will start the calculating the value. Next activity we'll use type into so that we can fill the value inside the text boxes. So whenever we are filling the value, we have to make sure the value is capturing from our Excel sheet. Now here we'll specify row round bracket height with the detail in fit dot to string, because this value is an integer, so we have to convert into the string format, and we have to keep empty field marked or checked so that whenever the value is filled there would be no value added. Next again we'll use type into activity where we can add inches. So in previous activity we have added the detail in fit. This time we'll fill up the box or text box which is available for inch. Now we will add the variable row and specify height with inch and convert it to dot to string. Next item again we'll drag and drop type into and specify the weight. Here we are renaming the activity for best practices. Weight is always in LBS. Next activity, before proceeding with the next activity, we have to just again specify row with their weight and convert it to dot to string. Again, we'll add type empty field. This time we'll use click activity to calculate the value, and when we'll indicate on the screen pagely, we'll focus on calculate tab. Now that's done. At the end, we will get text and store into our Excel sheet. Here we have captured the text which is generated at the end of calculations. Again, we are renaming the name and creating the value under result. So we'll store here the value inside result. And finally, we will drag and drop message box to showcase our data. So everything is running in for each data table. So whenever the value will be filled inside our Excel sheet, the pop-up message will appear to showcase, and finally it will write the detail inside our Excel file. Again, we'll drag and drop assign activity to store the value of row into some other detail and convert into the result format. Now, third sequence we'll use it for copying the data which is generated in calculate BMI sequence. So here we'll write the data using right range workbook where we'll specify the Excel sheet, which is the name of the XLS, then the sheet name, and finally the data table value. We'll again specify the cell in which cell we can write it down. Now we are done, and post doing all this, we have to just save this code and run the flow. Once we'll execute the code, we'll have exactly same output available. So if you're looking forward to learn UiPath from scratch, please watch my complete UiPath playlist, and in this playlist, we'll cover some of the important use cases which we can create it for UiPath. So if you want to learn the examples of the UiPath, please watch my this complete playlist and keep learning and keep sharing within your circle so that others all can also get benefited. Thank you for watching.